She stopped mid-sentence, stunned by one human ship that changed everything. An alien girl's discovery shook the council, showing that humans were smarter, faster, and more unpredictable than anyone expected. If this amazed you, subscribe now to see more stories where humans change everything. Lyra stood on the observation deck, her heart racing as she looked out at the endless expanse of stars stretching before her. The council chamber behind her was filled with alien leaders from every corner of their planet, their eyes focused on her, waiting for her to explain what she had discovered about the distant human fleet. She adjusted the small data pad in her hands, making sure every detail was ready to be presented. She had rehearsed this moment countless times, yet the weight of their judgment made her palms sweat. The observation deck was vast, with transparent walls that allowed a panoramic view of the planets and moons orbiting in their system. Ships of the Council floated quietly in the distance, moving with precision and grace. Lyra often felt small in comparison to their grandeur, yet today she knew she had something extraordinary to share. She took a deep breath and let her voice carry across the room, calm and clear despite the tension building inside her. She began by describing the humans she had been studying for months, her tone a mixture of excitement and caution. The council had heard rumors before of strange species outside their known territories. But Lyra's data was concrete, collected from multiple observation points and long-range sensors. She pointed to a holographic projection that appeared in the center of the chamber, showing tiny human ships moving in ways that defied conventional alien tactics. Some council members leaned forward, curious despite themselves, while others crossed their arms, skeptical of what they were about to see. Every gesture and movement Lyra made was precise, her blue eyes scanning the faces of the council members, noting their reactions. She had learned that subtle body language could reveal more than words. Some of the older leaders frowned, clearly doubting her claims, while a few younger ones whispered quietly to each other, intrigued by the possibilities. She felt a surge of determination, knowing that if she lost their attention now, she might never regain it. As she continued, she detailed the humans' ability to adapt quickly, to think creatively in ways that their own species often could not. She compared their ship maneuvers to known alien patterns, highlighting the differences. The council listened, some skeptically, others with a spark of interest. She could feel the room shifting, a subtle change in energy, as if the leaders were realizing that perhaps, just perhaps, these humans were not as simple as they had assumed. Lyra paused briefly to let the information sink in, giving the council members a chance to absorb the projections and the data. She watched as some frowned, some whispered, and some stared silently, trying to make sense of the anomaly she was presenting. She knew she had to maintain control, to guide their thoughts without pushing too hard. Her training in diplomacy and strategy was being tested in the most intense way, and she welcomed the challenge. Her voice grew firmer as she explained how humans had managed to accomplish tasks that even highly advanced alien species struggled with. She highlighted their resourcefulness, their unexpected creativity, and their courage in taking risks, traits that were difficult to quantify, but impossible to ignore. The council members shifted in their seats, some exchanging looks, clearly beginning to reconsider their initial doubts. Lyra felt a quiet sense of satisfaction, knowing that her careful preparation was paying off. As the session continued, she noticed a few skeptical leaders leaning back, folding their arms, but even they could not completely hide their curiosity. She emphasized that her findings were not speculative. Every detail was backed by careful observation and repeated measurement. She could feel the atmosphere changing slowly, the room moving from doubt to cautious interest. She had their attention now, and she intended to make every second count. She concluded her first segment by pointing to the holographic display again, highlighting the humans' unpredictable patterns and strategies. She explained that ignoring such a species could have serious consequences for their planet and their future. The council remained silent for a moment, taking in the gravity of her words. Lyra felt the weight of responsibility settle on her shoulders, knowing that this was only the beginning, and that what she revealed next could change everything for her people. Even as she stepped back slightly, she kept her gaze on the council, ready to continue. her mind racing with possibilities and concerns. The observation deck felt both enormous and intimate at the same time, a place where history could be made or lost. She understood the power of this moment, the significance of what she was doing, and she held herself steady, ready to guide the council through the startling revelations she had uncovered about the humans. Lyra turned back to the holographic projection, her eyes focused on the tiny human ships moving across the display. She began to describe their technology in detail, her voice steady, yet full of excitement. The council members leaned closer, curiosity replacing some of their earlier skepticism. She explained how humans had created engines that allowed their ships to accelerate and change direction almost instantly. Unlike the sluggish, predictable movements of traditional alien vessels, she pointed out how humans used energy efficiently, converting minimal fuel into maximum output, a method that many alien engineers had deemed impossible. The council murmured among themselves, some incredulous, others intrigued. Lyra continued, showing diagrams of the humans' communication systems, how they could coordinate large fleets across vast distances with perfect timing. She emphasized that their methods were different from anything the council had seen before. Humans relied on quick thinking and adaptability rather than rigid protocols. This gave them a surprising advantage in unpredictable situations. The aliens had always relied on preset calculations, but humans seemed to improvise with precision. She highlighted their weapon systems next. Small but extremely effective, capable of targeting multiple points simultaneously. She explained how humans used a combination of conventional and unconventional strategies, often confusing larger, more powerful alien forces. Lyra described a battle scenario where a handful of human ships outmaneuvered an entire squadron of advanced alien vessels. The council gasped quietly, some shaking their heads in disbelief, but she urged them to pay attention to the patterns, not just the raw numbers. The holographic display shifted to show the humans' defensive techniques. Lyra explained how they could create temporary shields that absorbed impact and redirected energy, a technique unfamiliar to most of the council members. She compared it to known alien methods and showed how humans had refined it through trial and error. Their adaptability made their defenses unpredictable and difficult to overcome. The council watched intently, some whispering to each other, trying to comprehend the implications. Lyra then moved to their strategic thinking, describing how humans anticipated enemy moves with remarkable accuracy, often predicting outcomes based on observation and intuition rather than calculation alone. She noted that their ability to learn quickly from mistakes made them formidable opponents. She explained that even small fleets could outsmart much larger alien forces if they acted decisively and creatively. This combination of intelligence and flexibility was rare in any species. The council's initial skepticism began to fade, replaced by cautious admiration. She shared stories of specific encounters, using the projection to illustrate humans performing actions that seemed impossible, maneuvering through asteroid fields, evading enemy fire, and using environmental factors to their advantage. Lyra described one scenario where a human ship had narrowly escaped a trap set by a far superior alien fleet. Yet through quick thinking and an unusual tactic, it turned the situation around completely. The council members leaned in closer, their attention fully captured. The alien girl explained how humans also communicated in ways that confused other species, using signals that were difficult to intercept and interpret. She pointed out that their ability to work as a team without rigid hierarchy allowed for rapid decisions, each member contributing ideas and improvising solutions in real time. She emphasized that this flexibility was one of their greatest strengths. Unlike many alien species that relied on strict chains of command, the humans could adapt instantly, making them unpredictable and dangerous. Lyra concluded by stressing that the humans' technology and strategies were not only impressive, but revolutionary. They challenged the very principles that the council had relied upon for centuries. She warned that underestimating them could lead to disaster. The council members sat in thoughtful silence, some exchanging glances, realizing that Lyra's observations might be more accurate than they had dared to believe. She felt a mixture of relief and determination. Knowing she had successfully conveyed the depth of the human's abilities, She stepped back slightly, letting the display rotate slowly, showing humans in different scenarios, from combat maneuvers to exploration missions. Lyra observed the council's reactions carefully, noting the subtle shifts in posture and expression. Some leaders were clearly impressed, others cautiously skeptical, but all were paying attention now. She had their focus. And that was the first step toward changing their perception of humans completely. Every word she spoke reinforced the reality that humans were different, innovative, and unexpectedly powerful. Lyra could see the beginnings of a new understanding forming in the council chamber. She knew that the next part of her presentation would be even more critical, as she prepared to reveal the humans' most astonishing capabilities. The room seemed to hold its breath, waiting for her to continue. Lyra was in the middle of explaining the humans' unique strategies when suddenly she stopped, her voice cutting off mid-sentence. A chill ran down her spine as her eyes fixed on the holographic display. Something had appeared that she had not predicted. The sensors on her datapad flickered rapidly, showing a faint but unmistakable signature. Her heart raced, and for the first time, doubt crept into her mind. The council members noticed her pause, their murmurs filling the room. They leaned forward, expecting her to continue. But Lyra could not move, her attention completely captured by the anomaly. The signature was subtle but clear. A human ship appearing in a location that should have been impossible according to all her calculations. Lyra's mind raced as she tried to reconcile the data. Every scenario she had prepared did not account for this sudden development. She felt a mix of fear and excitement, knowing that what she was seeing could change everything she was about to present. The council's impatience grew. Some members exchanged worried glances, sensing the tension in her. Yet they did not interrupt. Their curiosity piqued, waiting for her to speak. Her eyes scanned the holographic projection repeatedly, trying to verify the readings. The ship moved with precision and confidence, its path unlike anything humans had shown before. It seemed almost intelligent in its ability to predict obstacles and navigate around them. Lyra realized that the humans had a capability far beyond her understanding. She felt a shiver run through her, aware that this discovery could either prove her point in an extraordinary way or make her entire presentation seem inaccurate. The council whispered among themselves. Sensing the change in the room, they noticed the hesitation in Lyra's stance. The sudden pause that suggested she had encountered something unexpected. Some of the younger members exchanged excited looks, intrigued by the possibility that her findings might surpass even the most advanced council research. Others frowned, unsure whether this was a mistake or an exaggeration. Yet the room remained silent, giving Lyra the space she needed to process the anomaly. She took a slow, steadying breath, reminding herself of the training she had undergone. She had faced unexpected variables before, but never with such high stakes. Her hands hovered over the datapad as she recalculated, every input and reading cross-checked, yet the result remained the same. The humans had somehow achieved a position in space that defied conventional understanding. Lyra's mind raced. She had to find the words to explain this to the council without causing panic or disbelief. Her gaze shifted back to the council members, their expressions a mixture of curiosity and skepticism. She realized that her reaction alone could influence their perception. She straightened her posture and prepared to speak. Yet, the anomaly held her attention. The room seemed to grow quiet, as if the universe itself had paused to witness the moment. Lyra's internal dialogue battled between fear and excitement, knowing that revealing this information correctly could shift the council's entire perspective on humanity. Minutes seemed to stretch as she monitored the human ship's movements, each calculation confirming that it was not a random occurrence. This was deliberate, precise, and extraordinary. The realization struck her that humans were far more advanced in adaptability and strategy than she had ever imagined. The pause in her presentation became a critical moment of suspense. The council members leaned forward, sensing the importance. They waited for her next words, unaware of the depth of her internal struggle. Finally, Lyra gathered herself, her fingers trembling slightly as she activated additional sensors to track the ship. She could now see patterns emerging, a deliberate trajectory that suggested intelligence, not chance. She began to speak, her voice careful but steady, explaining the unexpected appearance of the ship and the implications it carried. The council members listened intently, some exchanging surprised glances, slowly realizing that the human's capabilities might surpass even what Lyra had claimed. The moment had shifted the entire presentation. Lyra felt a surge of determination, understanding that this anomaly could be her strongest point if conveyed correctly. She described how the human's unpredictable presence demonstrated creativity, intelligence, and technological prowess, qualities that could not be ignored. The council members began to murmur in agreement. The tension in the room replaced by a growing sense of awe and curiosity. Lyra knew that this mid-sentence pause had transformed her presentation. What began as hesitation became an opportunity to impress the council. She focused on translating the anomaly into a compelling argument, every word chosen to highlight the human's extraordinary abilities. As she spoke, the council's attention sharpened, their skepticism fading, replaced by a mixture of intrigue and cautious admiration. The observation deck felt alive with energy, the unexpected revelation marking a turning point in her presentation. The holographic display shimmered as Lyra focused on the human ship. Its movements precise and unlike anything she had seen before. She traced its trajectory carefully, noting that it defied every prediction she had made. Her calculations, simulations, and experience all suggested it should have been in an entirely different location. Yet there it was, navigating the projection with ease and confidence, a silent demonstration of human ingenuity that left her momentarily breathless. The council watched intently, sensing that what they were witnessing was far beyond ordinary. Lyra described the ship's maneuvers in detail, her voice steady but filled with excitement. She explained how it twisted and turned through obstacles that would have trapped any other vessel, moving with fluidity and speed that seemed almost impossible. The council members leaned forward, their expressions a mixture of astonishment and disbelief. She pointed out the subtle adjustments the ship made, tiny shifts in angle and propulsion that suggested incredible precision and quick thinking, qualities rarely seen in other species. As she spoke, Lyra highlighted how the ship responded instantly to changes in the environment, avoiding simulated threats that her projections introduced. She emphasized that humans seem to combine instinct with logic, making decisions in moments that would take other species minutes to calculate. The council whispered among themselves, some shaking their heads in amazement, others murmuring questions to each other, unable to fully comprehend how such a small group could achieve so much against their established understanding of technology and tactics. Lyra then displayed comparisons with known alien vessels, showing how humans outperformed even the most advanced ships in speed, agility, and adaptive strategy. She explained that the humans' unpredictability was not random but intentional, a form of intelligent improvisation that made them highly effective in combat and exploration alike. She could see the council's initial skepticism fading, replaced by a mix of awe and curiosity. Some leaders exchanging glances as they realized that Lyra's observations might be more accurate than they had dared to believe. The human ship performed a series of maneuvers that seemed impossible, slipping through tight formations, exploiting weaknesses in the simulated defenses. Lyra narrated each move, pointing out the creativity and resourcefulness behind them. She stressed that such tactics could not be predicted by conventional algorithms or rigid training methods. The humans were thinking differently, combining observation, experience, and intuition into a seamless approach that alien species rarely demonstrated. The council members leaned closer, some whispering quietly, trying to understand the depth of the humans' abilities. She described the energy systems of the ship next, explaining how humans had optimized power usage to allow bursts of speed and rapid directional changes without exhausting resources. Lyra compared this to traditional alien methods that relied on predictable energy patterns, highlighting how humans' approach allowed them to react in real time, adapting to threats with surprising efficiency. The council's murmurs grew louder, a mix of excitement and disbelief filling the room as they absorbed the details. Lyra also emphasized the ship's ability to operate in complex environments, such as asteroid fields and nebulae, showing simulations of the humans navigating obstacles with precision. She explained that their ability to analyze and respond to multiple variables simultaneously gave them a distinct advantage, one that traditional alien fleets could rarely match. The council watched silently, some leaning back in awe, others jotting notes, clearly realizing that humans possessed skills and technology that challenged long-held assumptions. She paused briefly to allow the information to settle, letting the council observe the projection and absorb the implications, then resumed, pointing out that these abilities were not limited to combat scenarios, but also applied to exploration, resource gathering, and problem-solving in space. Lyra highlighted that the humans' versatility made them a species capable of surprising outcomes. The council members exchanged thoughtful glances, beginning to understand the magnitude of what she was revealing. Finally, Lyra explained the significance of the ship's unexpected appearance in her calculations, how it proved that humans were not just lucky or random, but possessed strategy, intelligence, and innovation that defied prediction. The council members remained silent for a moment, the weight of realization sinking in. She could feel their curiosity and respect growing. The room seemed charged with energy, a sense that something monumental was unfolding. As the session continued, Lyra emphasized that the humans' ability to outperform expectations challenged every assumption the council had about other species. She illustrated how ignoring them could be a critical mistake. The council members sat in thoughtful silence, some nodding subtly, others leaning forward, fully engaged. Lyra felt a surge of confidence, knowing that this demonstration had shifted their perception, that the humans were no longer merely subjects of study, but a force to be reckoned with. The council chamber buzzed with tension as Lyra continued to explain the humans' extraordinary abilities, some leaders leaning forward with curiosity, while others frowned in doubt. Whispers spread across the room as debates began quietly among the council members. Many found it hard to believe that such a small and seemingly unassuming species could possess technology and strategies that rivaled their own. Lyra observed their reactions carefully, understanding that every word, every gesture, and every pause could influence their perception. She knew she had to maintain control of the presentation while addressing the growing skepticism. Several council members began questioning her, their voices sharp but respectful, asking if the data was accurate and if the human capabilities had been verified. Lyra responded calmly, presenting cross-referenced readings and multiple sensor analyses that confirmed her observations. She emphasized that the humans' movements and strategies were not isolated incidents, but consistent patterns observed over many months. Yet the chamber remained divided, some leaders whispering doubts, others visibly intrigued by the evidence. The room grew more animated as the skeptical members argued that no species so small could execute such complex maneuvers or show such adaptive intelligence. They questioned whether Lyra's sensors had malfunctioned or if her interpretations were exaggerated. She listened carefully, nodding occasionally, acknowledging their concerns. Yet she countered every objection with precise data and clear examples. Projecting holograms that illustrated humans navigating complex environments, overcoming threats, and using unconventional tactics that no alien fleet had previously attempted, Lyra could feel the balance shifting. Though slowly, as some members of the council began to reconsider, she noticed the subtle signs. A head nod here, an attentive gaze there, a quiet whisper of agreement. She seized the opportunity to emphasize the humans' consistency and ingenuity, explaining how they combined observation, quick thinking, and teamwork in ways that gave them an advantage. She highlighted that the humans' unpredictability was not a flaw, but a strength, and it was this very quality that allowed them to challenge even the most advanced species. As she spoke, Lyra illustrated specific scenarios, showing humans outmaneuvering larger alien forces with fewer resources, using environmental factors to their advantage, and making split-second decisions that seemed almost impossible. The council members watched, some whispering in astonishment, realizing that these examples were meticulously verified, not speculative. She made it clear that underestimating such a species could have serious consequences, a point that began to resonate with even the most skeptical leaders. Lyra noticed a few council members shifting in their seats, some leaning back with arms crossed, while others scribbled notes quickly, clearly attempting to understand the implications. She addressed their doubts head-on, explaining the technology, adaptive methods, and mental agility of the humans, emphasizing that their approach to strategy and problem-solving was fundamentally different from the traditional methods the Council had long relied on. The room's energy began to change from doubt and debate to cautious interest. She highlighted the potential opportunities the humans presented, not just as a threat, but as a species that could be studied, observed, and potentially allied with. She explained that learning from their tactics could benefit the Council in ways previously unimaginable. Some leaders murmured thoughtfully, realizing that ignoring or dismissing the humans entirely could be a critical mistake. Lyra continued to press the point, showing simulations where humans had consistently adapted to unexpected challenges, outperforming larger, better-equipped fleets. The Council's focus shifted as her words sank in, the initial tension giving way to curiosity and engagement. Lyra observed the subtle changes in posture and expression, sensing that the chamber was beginning to acknowledge the validity of her findings. She carefully reinforced the importance of strategy and adaptability, reminding them that human success was not luck, but the result of intelligence, teamwork, and innovation, qualities that demanded respect and attention. She concluded this segment by connecting all her points, showing how skepticism was natural, but also how evidence and observation proved the humans' capabilities. The Council members remained silent for a moment, processing the information, some exchanging glances, others quietly nodding. Lyra felt a sense of accomplishment, knowing she had successfully guided the conversation from disbelief to cautious consideration. Lyra's eyes scanned the chamber one final time, noting the mixture of doubt and intrigue, understanding that while not everyone was convinced, she had planted seeds of awareness and curiosity that could grow into acknowledgement. The room held a palpable sense of anticipation, and she knew the next part of her presentation would be critical in turning skepticism fully into respect. She took a deep breath, ready to guide the Council further into understanding the humans' remarkable abilities. Lyra took a steady breath and shifted the focus of her presentation, emphasizing the opportunities humans could bring rather than just the potential threat. She explained how their unique strategies and innovative technology were not only powerful but also offered lessons that could be beneficial if approached carefully. The Council members leaned in, some skeptical, some intrigued, as she illustrated the possibilities of learning from humans. Adaptability and unconventional thinking. She highlighted that ignoring them entirely could result in missed opportunities. She described how humans had consistently demonstrated the ability to solve problems quickly, turning challenges into advantages. Their creativity allowed them to approach situations differently, sometimes exploiting weaknesses that other species overlooked. Lyra explained that these traits could be invaluable if studied and understood. The Council members listened intently, some whispering quietly, clearly realizing that the humans' unpredictability could be an asset rather than a simple threat. Lyra showed holographic simulations of humans navigating dangerous environments, overcoming superior forces with clever tactics, and using resources efficiently. She emphasized that humans' approach combined observation, intuition, and innovation in ways that could complement alien knowledge. She pointed out that the Council could gain valuable insights by observing human methods, potentially improving their own strategies and technologies. A few Council members nodded slightly, beginning to understand the potential benefits. She went on to explain the humans' cooperative nature, how small groups could coordinate complex maneuvers with precision, communicating effectively without rigid hierarchies. This allowed them to adapt instantly and think creatively under pressure. Lyra contrasted this with many alien fleets that relied heavily on strict protocols, making them less flexible in unpredictable situations. The Council members murmured, some exchanging looks of quiet astonishment, realizing that humans' teamwork and decision-making were exceptional. Lyra highlighted that humans' courage and willingness to take risks often led to innovative solutions, even in life-threatening situations. She explained that their resilience and determination were traits that could inspire change and progress if the Council chose to engage with them. She stressed that these qualities were not isolated incidents, but consistent behaviors observed across multiple missions and encounters. The Council listened carefully, some visibly impressed, as they began to reconsider their assumptions about the species. She then addressed potential alliances, explaining that understanding humans could open doors to trade, technology exchange, and knowledge sharing. Lyra suggested that humans' unconventional thinking might provide new approaches to challenges the Council had struggled with for centuries. She emphasized that dismissing humans outright could be short-sighted, potentially leaving the Council unprepared for future developments. The room grew quieter. With Council members reflecting on the weight of her words, Lyra showed simulations of human interaction with other species, demonstrating diplomacy, negotiation, and conflict resolution that were creative yet effective. She explained that these methods could serve as models for handling difficult situations in ways the Council had not considered. She stressed that humans' adaptability extended beyond combat into problem-solving, negotiation, and survival, making them a versatile and valuable species to study. Some Council members nodded slowly, clearly intrigued by the broader implications. She also highlighted the importance of observation, explaining that humans' unpredictable actions could challenge traditional thinking and force the Council to innovate. She showed examples of humans turning disadvantages into advantages, using environments, tools, and timing in ways that no alien species had attempted. Lyra emphasized that these lessons could be transformative if approached with openness and curiosity. The Council members' attention sharpened, some leaning forward as the reality of the potential opportunity sank in. Lyra carefully explained that engaging with humans did not mean immediate alliance or trust, but rather observation, learning, and preparation. She stressed that understanding their methods could prevent future conflicts and even provide technological and strategic benefits. The Council members began to appreciate the nuance of her argument, realizing that humans were more than a threat. They were a chance to expand knowledge and capability. She could feel the mood shifting in the room. Finally, she concluded by reinforcing the message that humans' adaptability, creativity, and intelligence were assets that could be studied and learned from, not ignored. She reminded the Council that dismissing them entirely could lead to underestimating their potential. Some leaders leaned back, thoughtful and contemplative. Others whispered quietly, exchanging impressions. Lyra felt a surge of satisfaction, knowing that her careful presentation had successfully shifted the focus from fear to opportunity, setting the stage for the next critical part of her demonstration. Lyra activated the live feed, her fingers steady but her heart pounding. The Council members leaned forward, eyes widening, as the human ship appeared in real time on the holographic display. It moved with precision and grace, its maneuvers sharper and faster than anything the Council had ever seen. The ship navigated through simulated obstacles with ease, dodging threats and responding instantly to changes in the environment. Lyra narrated each movement carefully, emphasizing the human's skill and creativity. The room was silent except for her voice, every leader captivated by the demonstration. The human ship twisted and turned in ways that defied traditional understanding. Lyra explained how it anticipated each challenge before it even fully appeared, adjusting trajectory and speed with perfect timing. She highlighted the intelligence behind every decision, pointing out that the ship's actions were deliberate, calculated, and adaptable, not random or lucky. The Council members exchanged astonished glances, some leaning forward with mouths slightly open, others whispering quietly to their neighbors, unable to hide their awe. As the live feed continued, Lyra showcased the human's tactical brilliance, demonstrating maneuvers that allowed the ship to outflank multiple simulated enemy vessels at once. She explained that the human's strategies combined foresight, improvisation, and teamwork in a way that alien species rarely exhibited. The Council watched closely, some shaking their heads in disbelief, realizing that what they were seeing was real and verified. Lyra emphasized that humans' small numbers did not limit their effectiveness. Their ingenuity allowed them to compete with much larger and more advanced forces. The ship then performed a series of rapid adjustments, evading simulated attacks while maintaining offensive positioning. Lyra pointed out how humans had mastered the art of risk and reward, choosing bold maneuvers that other species would avoid. She explained that this daring approach, combined with precise execution, made humans uniquely capable in unpredictable situations. The council members murmured among themselves, a mix of amazement and cautious admiration spreading across the chamber, some leaning closer to study the holographic details, others silently acknowledging the truth of Lyra's observations. Lyra highlighted the human's ability to learn in real time, adapting to unexpected scenarios instantly. She explained that their coordination did not rely on rigid command structures, but on dynamic communication and intuition, allowing them to respond faster than even highly trained alien fleets. She demonstrated this with simulated enemy tactics that the human ship countered flawlessly. The council members were visibly impressed, some exchanging glances of disbelief, recognizing that humans' adaptability and strategic thinking were unlike anything they had previously encountered. The human ship then executed maneuvers that involved navigating complex asteroid fields while simultaneously engaging multiple targets. Lyra explained the significance of such feats, showing how humans integrated environmental awareness into their tactics. Using natural obstacles to their advantage, she emphasized that this approach reflected creativity, intelligence, and a deep understanding of physics and strategy. The council members leaned closer, whispering excitedly, some jotting notes, realizing that humans' methods could challenge centuries of conventional thinking. Lyra paused briefly to let the council of the magnitude of the display, then continued, explaining how humans combined offense, defense, and adaptability seamlessly, creating a fluid, unpredictable style of operation that was extremely difficult to counter. She highlighted that this unpredictability was a deliberate strength, cultivated through experience, innovation, and teamwork. The council members nodded slowly, some murmuring agreements, understanding that humans' abilities were genuine and remarkable, far beyond previous estimates. She then focused on the implications, stressing that observing humans directly offered the council the chance to learn and prepare, rather than dismissing or underestimating them. Lyra explained that this live demonstration proved humans' capabilities in a way that simulations and reports could not. The council members were fully engaged, the earlier skepticism replaced by a growing respect, some leaning back in awe, others whispering quietly about the unprecedented nature of what they were seeing. Finally, Lyra concluded the segment by showing the humans' coordinated maneuvers once more, emphasizing precision, creativity, and adaptability. She reminded the council that this live demonstration confirmed everything she had previously reported, validating her observations and the humans' extraordinary abilities. The council remained silent for a moment, absorbing the information. The energy in the room charged with realization. Lyra felt a surge of relief and satisfaction, knowing that the humans had proven themselves beyond any doubt. As the live feed ended, the council members exchanged thoughtful glances, some nodding slowly, others murmuring quietly, the chamber buzzing with a mixture of awe and contemplation. Lyra remained poised, her confidence growing, understanding that the humans' demonstration had shifted perceptions completely. She had successfully shown that this species was not only capable but exceptional, and that the council could no longer ignore or underestimate them. The moment marked a turning point in their understanding, and history itself seemed poised to change. By the end of the session, the council chamber was filled with a quiet but intense energy. The leaders sat in thoughtful silence, processing everything Lyra had shown them about the humans. She stood at the front, her posture steady, yet inside she felt a mixture of relief and anticipation. The live demonstration and detailed explanations had left no room for doubt. The humans were capable, innovative, and unpredictable, qualities that demanded respect and careful consideration. Lyra explained the next steps clearly, emphasizing that the council needed to observe and engage with humans cautiously. She suggested sending emissaries to study them firsthand, to understand their technology, strategies, and social behavior. She stressed that this was not about immediate alliance or trust, but about awareness and preparation. The council members listened carefully, some nodding in agreement, others whispering among themselves, weighing the implications of interacting with such an extraordinary species. She highlighted the potential benefits of engagement, explaining that observing humans could provide valuable insights into innovation, problem solving, and adaptability. She reminded the Council that underestimating a species capable of such ingenuity could have serious consequences. Some leaders began to see the humans not just as a threat, but as a species that could teach, challenge, and even inspire them. The room's mood shifted from skepticism and caution to cautious excitement. Lyra described scenarios where careful observation and communication could help the Council learn from humans' tactics. She explained that understanding their strategies could improve the Council's own technology, fleet coordination, and decision-making processes. She emphasized that humans' creativity and adaptability were rare among known species, and that engaging with them could open doors to new possibilities in science, strategy, and diplomacy. The Council members listened intently, some leaning forward, clearly intrigued by the potential opportunities. She reminded the Council that while humans were impressive, they were also unpredictable, and any interaction needed to be approached with care. She suggested protocols for monitoring their movements and understanding their behavior without provoking hostility. She highlighted that patience and observation were critical. The Council began discussing quietly among themselves, evaluating the recommendations and recognizing the importance of measured action. Lyra felt the weight of responsibility, knowing that the future relationship with humans could hinge on these early decisions. Lyra then reflected on the humans' journey, their ability to adapt, learn, and innovate under pressure. She explained that these qualities made them a species worth studying, not ignoring. She described how humans turned disadvantages into advantages, solved complex problems creatively, and coordinated effectively without rigid hierarchies. The Council members began to grasp the broader picture, realizing that humans were not simply another species, but a force capable of influencing the balance of power in the galaxy. The live projections of human ships faded, but the impact lingered. Lyra guided the Council to focus on the lessons they could learn, the strategies they could observe, and the technologies they could adapt or improve upon. She emphasized that engagement was a tool for preparation, not immediate confrontation. The Council members nodded slowly, some exchanging thoughtful glances, others jotting notes, the chamber buzzing quietly with discussion and reflection. The seeds of a new perspective were firmly planted. She reminded them that history often changed through observation and understanding, and that humans represented a turning point, a species capable of teaching lessons that even the most advanced civilizations had yet to master. Lyra urged the Council to approach the future with both caution and curiosity, encouraging them to embrace the opportunity to learn and grow from the humans' example. The Council members absorbed her words, some whispering agreements, others quietly nodding, the energy in the room shifting toward action and possibility. Finally, Lyra stepped back, watching as the Council reached a consensus to send emissaries and closely observe humans. She felt a sense of quiet satisfaction, knowing that her efforts had convinced the leaders to take responsible action. The decision marked a turning point, not just for the humans, but for her own people as well. She realized that one species, one ship, and one careful presentation had the power to change perspectives and shape the course of history. As the chamber emptied and discussions continued quietly, Lyra remained at the observation deck, staring out at the stars, imagining the humans navigating the galaxy with their skill and ingenuity. She smiled softly, knowing that the Council's decision would open a new chapter of understanding, cooperation, and discovery. The humans had changed not just her presentation, but the mindset of her entire species, and history itself seemed poised on the edge of transformation, a future filled with possibilities waiting to be explored.